Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making for you today is a traditional meal for Newfoundland, is chicken, liver and onions with Brewis. This was a very popular meal years ago. A lot of people made it, and you can also make it with beef liver or pork liver, but today we're going to be using chicken liver, and we're going to get started first with frying up our onions, and then I'll show you what's next. So before I start adding in the ingredients, I'm going to show you the fat pork that we're going to be frying first with some butter. And fat pork, I'm sure if you ask your grocery store person, they may be able to tell you. If you haven't got access to it, you can eliminate it altogether. I'm only going to be using about a tablespoonful. You could use more. You could cut all that up into little pieces. Years ago they would fry quite a bit of fat pork, but I just want a small amount, and this is already salted, so we won't be using any salt in this dish today. So we'll start frying that first. Okay, this is coming along nice. I'm going to be putting in about a half teaspoonful of pepper. You can put in a little bit more if you want it, and then let that fry around. This is our chicken liver, and of course it's just small pieces. Now if you were using a beef liver, it's a big chunk, and you'll cut it up in small cubes because you don't want it. That's small enough to use. Delicious when it's fried, and of course you don't want to overcook that, but into the pot with this is going to flavor it up nice. I want to talk a little bit about the Brewis that we're going to be using for this. It's a Newfoundland hard bread, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so for those of you who's not Newfoundlanders and that's watching this video today, hard bread, of course, is a baked bread that is made specially to be really hard, and this is to have shelf life and to last for a long period of time. This was very traditional in Newfoundland years ago. And I guess the old saying was used by sailors when they were out on the ships, and they were able to keep it for longer. You soak this in cold water, and then what becomes hard bread is now soft bread. And this is the bread we're going to use with the liver, the chicken liver, and that's called Brewis when it's cooked just a little. And this hard bread, right now, it's mine that I made, and I got that recipe on Bonita's Kitchen, and it's called hard bread. Okay, so let's get back to frying our onions. Okay, so like I was saying, that's coming along nice. We just want that a nice golden brown, and I'm going to be adding in this chicken liver very shortly. Okay, so what I got here is a pot of already boiled water. When you're cooking your hard bread, you don't want to boil it. You just want it into hot water. Now, some would say hot salted water. Yes, you could do that. But when you make this hard bread, you already added salt into the hard bread, so it's not necessary to add that. But what I'm going to be adding in with this, after I take it out, is some butter. And the butter got a little bit of salt. There's a salted butter already. So we're going to take the hard bread, which is now soft bread, and put it directly into the pot. And I'm just going to put it on a simmer on my damper and just leave it there until I'm ready to use it when I take off the chicken liver. So let's add the chicken liver now to the onions. Alright, so just add in the chicken liver right into your onions and your fat pork that was frying there. We're not going to add any more seasonings to this, but if you wanted to add in other seasonings, you can. And if you don't like onions, or for some reason you don't like the texture of onions, you can use onion powder or grate your onions, and it'll just be just like a little soft bed of onions, and it'll just be like water, really. So let this cook, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, this is coming along really nice, and it smells amazing in here. I'm like you said, just going to let this cook just until it starts to get a nice golden brown, and because onions and the fat pork is already cooked. And then what I'm going to do after, when it gets to where I want it to be, I'm going to be adding in about a tablespoonful of flour, and then I'm going to be using a cup of broth, vegetable broth. And there's two ways you could make this. Some Newfoundlanders like it with just the fat pork and onions and chicken liver, and then pour it over their Brewis, which is your hard bread that's soaked and then simmered. And then some likes it with a little bit of a paste, a little bit of a roux, so that you could dip your hard bread in. So I'm going to leave that up to you. That is optional. Both ways is equally delicious. So let's get back to cooking our liver, and then I'll show you that next step. Now this is lovely, and you can see it's coming along nice. I'm almost ready now to go into the next step. And what I'm going to actually do, I'm going to take off both servings. I'm going to take off a serving with what it would be without sauce, and a serving with the sauce, so you can actually see both. And you don't want to overcook the liver, but if you like it like crispy or whatnot, you can keep it going, but you want it nice and tender. Okay, so before I do anything now, I'm going to take the hard bread that's been simmering for a little bit out of my pot, and I'm going to break it into little pieces. And I'm going to add about a teaspoonful to a tablespoonful of butter to this, just to give that nice buttery flavor. And I'm going to take out just a small bit, just to show you what it looks like. And I'm going to, I was telling you that I want to plate one that was with the sauce and one that's without the sauce. So this is what we're going to do here now. This one is going to be without the sauce. And now what we're going to do is make our sauce. So this is one without the sauce. It's equally delicious. And let's make our sauce. With a tablespoonful to 2 tablespoonfuls of flour, depending on how much sauce that you want. Whoops, that was a little bit of an accident. Depending on how much sauce you want, 1 tablespoonful may be enough, but you could always use 2. And I'm going to use between a half a cup to a cup of vegetable broth. And let this simmer to make a nice sauce. Okay, so that's coming along nice. So what I'm going to do now is plate up the next one, which is pretty much will be the remainder of the Brewis. And I put I had 3 pieces of Brewis there, or hard bread. But if you got a bigger hard bread made, 2 is lots soaking overnight, depending on how many you want to make this dish for. This is perfect for 2. But if you're making it for more than 2, well, then put more hard bread on soak. And usually you soak that overnight. Or if you wanted to do it early in the morning for supper time, you just put it into some cold water and let it soak. So what I'm going to do now is plate the Brewis, the chicken liver and onions with the sauce over the top of my Brewis. Okay, so now comes the fun part. This is the one that's got the sauce. Now, I don't know about you, I'm all about the sauce, but I do like it, both meals, because my dad will make it this way without the sauce, because he just liked the fried onions and the fat pork mixture. But I like the sauce, because when you can dip your bread, like your hard bread, into it, and you got that juice. But this is what it looks like. Absolutely delicious and quick and easy. So what I'm going to do with mine, I'm going to put another little tiny bit of pepper, because as you know, I do like a little bit more pepper to this. And I'm going to have a little taste of the one that got the sauce on it. And then I'll tell you what it tastes like. What a beautiful combination together. All of those flavors, and I love hard bread without anything on it. So delicious. You must try. And I just finished having a little taste of this one too, and he's equally delicious. So I'll let you decide on which one you want to make, and whatever, you could make both. It doesn't make a difference because you could take off some and then do your sauce after. But this is how quick and easy it is to make this delicious chicken liver and onions with Brewis. And if you don't have access to hard bread, you know that you can go to Bonita's Kitchen and type in hard bread, and Bonita's Kitchen will pop up and it'll give you that recipe. And if you don't like fat pork, or you don't know what it is and you can't get it in the store, you can just put a little bit of oil in there with your butter and then fry up your onions and your chicken liver. So there's no panic. You can have this dish either way, with or without those items. So to get access to more meals, traditional Newfoundland meals and non-tradition on Bonita's Kitchen, you can go to my YouTube channel up at the top right hand corner. Just subscribe. It'll prompt you to what you need to do, and each time we post a video, we will send a message letting you know. You can also visit me on www.bonitaskitchen.com and visit me on my Facebook page. So thank you for joining me once again for Bonita's Kitchen. From my kitchen to yours, you have a wonderful day.